The National Communications Network, in collaboration with the National Centre for Resource Development and the Ministry of Education, present CXC in Focus, a focus on the key subject areas of mathematics and English for students preparing to write the exams.
Welcome to another program, CXC Mathematics in Focus. Lesson 21, Measurement. We will be looking at volume. In this lesson, we are going to calculate the volume of geometric solids. We are going to find the volume of cuboid, cylinder, cone, prism, pyramid. Here are the solids, formulae, and examples. In the first column, we have solids. Second column, we have the formula. And in the third column, we have an example of each. In the first example given there, the first shape is a cuboid. It has length, breadth, height. The formula for finding the volume is V is equal to L times B times H. In the example on the right, you are given that the length is equal to 12 cm, the breadth is equal to 10 cm, the height is equal to 6 cm. The volume can be calculated by multiplying 12 by 10 by 6. That will give us 720 centimeter cube. You need to note that when we measure volume, the unit for measuring volume is cubic unit, and in this case the unit is centimeter, so the volume is measured in centimeter cube. In the next example, we have a cylinder and we are required to find the volume of the cylinder. In the cylinder, we know the radius as r and the height as h. The volume of a cylinder can be considered as the volume of a prism, that is area of base times height. In the formula, you would have recognized pi r squared. Pi r squared is the area of the base. So the volume is expressed as pi r squared h, that is the area of the base times the height. So the formula for finding volume of a cylinder is V is equal to pi r squared h. If you are given that r is 14 cm and h is 20 cm, then the volume can be calculated as 3.142 times 14 squared times 20. When that calculation is done, we will have a volume of 12,316.64 centimeter cube. Here is another solid. This time it is a cone. In a cone, we have a radius which is shown as r, and we have a height given as h. If we put a cylinder to match the base of the cone, and the height of the cylinder is the same as the height of the cone, we would discover experimentally that 3 conefuls will fill 1 cylinder. So we can conclude that the volume of the cone is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. We found the volume of the cylinder earlier. The volume of the cylinder is pi r squared h. If we know the volume of the cylinder, then it's easy to remember the formula for finding the volume of the cone, which is just 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. So V is equal to 1/3 pi r square h. If we look at an example, R is equal to 21 cm, H is equal to 30 cm, then the volume is equal to 1/3 times 3.142 times 21 squared times 30. That will give us 13,856.22 cm cube. Let's look at a prism. As I mentioned earlier, a volume of any prism is calculated as the area of the base times the height. In this particular prism, we have the base, which is rectangular, length by breadth, and you're seeing L for length, B for breadth, H for height. So the volume of the prism is equal to the area of the base times height. Any prism, and it goes also for the circle. If we are given that L is 12 cm, B is equal to 10 cm, and H is equal to 25 cm, then the area of the base is equal to 12 times 10, which is 120 cm squared. So if we multiply that area by the height, that is V, the volume, is equal to 120 times 25, which will give us 3,000. And since it is a volume measurement, it must be expressed in cubic units. So it is 3,000 centimeter cube. And note that important principle at the bottom there. Volume of any prism is equal to the area of its base times its height. Let's look at the volume of a pyramid. In this case, the pyramid has a rectangular base of length L and width B, and the height is shown as the height from the apex to the center of the base. The volume of a pyramid is simple because we relate the pyramid to a prism. If we fit a prism to the base as shown there, with the prism having the same height as the pyramid, and we know that the volume of the prism is area of base times height, experimentally we can show that 3 pyramid full will fill the prism. So the volume of one pyramid is 1/3 the volume of the prism. And this can be expressed in the formula V is equal to 1/3 area of base times height. If we are given that L is 12 cm, B is 8 cm, and H is 15 cm, then the volume is calculated as 1/3 12 times 8 times 15. When that calculation is done, we'll end up with a volume of 480 centimeter cube. And notice the principle below. The volume of any pyramid is equal to 1/3 area of base times height. And once you remember this, you wouldn't go wrong. Here is your problem for today. The diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows a prism of length 30 cm. The cross section WXYZ is a square with an area 144 cm squared. You are required to calculate the volume of the prism, and this question is a part of a question taken from CXC January 2007. This is the problem given to you in the last lesson. The diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows a prism of length 30 cm. The cross section WXYZ is a square with an area 144 cm squared. Find the total surface area of the prism. Question taken from CXC January 2007 is part of a question. Here is the solution. The total surface area is equal to 2 times 30 times 12 plus 12 times 30 plus 12 times 12, which will give us 2 times 360 plus 360 plus 144, which will give us an area, a total surface area of 1,728 centimeters squared. This brings us to the end of today's program, CXC Mathematics in Focus.
Today, we'll be talking about a skill that is of vital importance to every student. It is the skill of writing summaries. To answer questions such as, what was the movie about? How did the cricket match go? What did I miss in history class today? You must be able to apply summary writing techniques. Your questioner doesn't want to know every line and every action in the movie, every play in the cricket game, or every word from the history class. Rather, the question asks you to select the important details and summarize them. Similarly, when you summarize a passage, you need to be able to find the relevant ideas and present them as clearly and as briefly as possible. Having said all of this, how do we define the term summary? A summary is a shortened version of writing or speech which contains the main ideas of the original text. What is the summary writing used for? It is used for various purposes, including extracting the main points from a written article or speech, reporting an event or an experience in brief form, writing news reports, writing minutes for a meeting, taking notes from a speech or a text, like you'll be doing when viewing these lessons, conveying information to someone that you have gathered from a brochure, poster, or advertisement. A summary is a good test of comprehension. In order to write a good summary, one needs to have a clear understanding of what is written in the original passage or text. One of the essentials to good summary writing is to have a clear understanding of the writer's purpose or intention. Every writer has a purpose or intention. A writer's purpose can include the following: to describe a person, place, or object, or situation, or an activity, to relate events or incidents in time sequence, such as telling a story or recording events in history, to explain or convey information about some aspect of nature. For example, what causes the tide to rise, or tsunami. A process, for example, saving a document on a compact disc. A concept, for example, peace, or love, to persuade readers to accept a certain point of view. For example, capital punishment should be abolished, or abortion should be legalized. It is important to understand the writer's purpose for writing, but it is just as important to understand the writer's tone. That is, his attitude to what he's writing. Sometimes the writer takes a particular attitude to what he or she is writing about. A writer can have a positive attitude. That is, he can agree with, be sympathetic towards, or be enthusiastic about what he's writing. On the other hand, he can portray a negative attitude. That is, he can disagree with, be hostile towards, or pessimistic about the subject he's discussing. Some writers choose to be neutral about their subjects. That is, they express a balanced view on their subjects of discussion. Let us try to determine the writer's purpose and attitude in each of the following extracts. Example 1. There is no month in the year in which nature wears a more beautiful appearance than in the month of August. It comes when we remember nothing but clear skies, green fields, and sweet-smelling flowers. Orchards and cornfields ring with the hum of labor. Trees bend beneath the thick cluster of rich fruit, which bow their branches to the ground. What subject does this extract deals with? This extract is about the unmatched beauty of nature, and it appears in August. Let's see how it is organized. The writer states the main point in the first sentence. He then gives supporting details to describe various aspects of nature's beauty. What do you think is the writer's attitude to this extract? The writer's attitude is clearly one of appreciation. Example 2. It is sometimes argued that if nothing else, boxing should be encouraged because it provides a ladder up out of poverty for young fighters. What could be more cynical and cruel? Does TV really need revenue so much that it must show young men trying to damage each other's brains? Are we so desperate for entertainment or an excuse for gambling that we consider it good sport to inflict head injury? This second extract is about boxing as both a sport and a form of entertainment. The writer begins by referring to an argument that one may want to use in favor of boxing. Let's reread the first sentence. The writer then rejects this argument and continues by supporting his position that boxing is indeed a cruel sport. What do you think is the writer's attitude in this extract? The writer clearly demonstrates an attitude of disagreement to the subject. You would know that a speaker or writer does not always say things explicitly or directly. Some writers infer ideas. That is, they do not say things explicitly, but the meaning of what they say is implied. Good summary writers must be able to extract meaning from the ideas that are implied. Let us examine two extracts that contain ideas that are implied rather than stated directly. Example 1. Suppose someone says to you, it's an ordeal to have to wait for hours after work for transportation to get home. Even when a vehicle eventually arrives, it is usually a hassle to get on board. What do you think that the speaker is implying? The speaker is implying that it is very difficult to get public transportation after work. How does the writer achieve this? The writer achieves this by illustrating the hassles of trying to obtain public transportation after work. Let us examine another example. During this time of the year, everyone is preoccupied with one form of preparation or another. While some mothers are sewing new curtains, others are busy checking out stores for Christmas bargains. Some children can be seen shining windows while their siblings are indoors battling with the walls and ceiling. There is no time whatsoever to spare. What is the writer implying here? The writer is simply implying that Christmas is a busy time of the year. And how does he achieve this? The writer achieves this by illustrating how busy people are in making preparations for this season of the year. Grasping the main idea. A paragraph is a group of sentences that are related to a particular topic or central theme. Every paragraph has a key concept or idea. The main idea is the most important piece of information the writer wants us to know about. A writer may state his or her main idea explicitly somewhere in the paragraph. The sentence that contains the main idea is known as the topic sentence. This sentence is usually found at each beginning of the paragraph. It can also be found in the middle or at the end of the paragraph. Let's read the following paragraph and identify the stated main idea. Then say in your own words what we can conclude from the information given. The rules of conduct during an examination are clear. No books, calculators, or papers are allowed in the test room. Invigilators will not allow anyone with such items to take the test. Anyone caught cheating will be asked to leave the room. His or her test sheet will be taken. The incident will be reported to the proper authority. At the end of the test period, all materials will be returned to the invigilator. Failure to abide by these rules will result in a fail grade for the test. The first sentence in the paragraph contains the stated main idea. The rules are spelt out in the remainder of the paragraph. What can we conclude from the information given? We can conclude that if one does not follow the rules of the examination, he or she will automatically fail. In our next lesson, you will be expected to apply the techniques you've learned in this lesson to summarize given passages. So, boys and girls, on behalf of the team Bibi Ali, Parmeshwar, Lal, and Ron Chichester, I'm Ingrid Pham, saying thank you for viewing.
The National Communications Network, in collaboration with the National Center for Resource Development and the Ministry of Education, present CXC in Focus, a focus on the key subject areas of mathematics and English for students preparing to write the exams.
Welcome to another program, CXC Mathematics in Focus. Lesson 22, Measurement, a variety of CXC problems. In this lesson, we will apply the concepts of measurement to the solution of a variety of problems. Here is an example taken from CXC January 2000 paper. A scale of 1 to 15,000 is used to draw the map of a city. 1. Calculate the actual distance in km between 2 points in the city which lie 87 cm apart on the map. The second part. The actual length of a playground in the city is 225 meters. Calculate in centimeter the length on the map. The third part. Given that the area of the playground on the map is 1.8 centimeters square, calculate the width of the playground as shown on the map. Here is the solution. 1 centimeter on the map is equal to 15 centimeter on land. And that's how we interpret the scale. Whatever unit is used for the first part of the ratio, the same unit is used in the second part of the ratio. So 87 centimeter on the map is equal to 87 times 15,000 centimeter on land. And when we convert centimeter to kilometer, we will have 13.05 kilometer. The second part of the question, 15,000 centimeter on land is equal to 1 centimeter on the map. So 150 meters on land is equal to 1 centimeter on a map. That is, we convert 15,000 cm to meters. So 15,000 centimeter to meter will be 150 meters. Then we work out what 225 meters on land will be. And when the calculation is done, we'll have 1.5 cm. So on the map, 225 meters on land will be 1.5 centimeter. The area on the map is 1.8 centimeter squared. The length of the playground on a map is 1.5 centimeter, which we will calculated at part 2. So the width on the map is 1.8 divided by 1.5. That is the area divided by the length, which will give us the width. And when that division is done, we will have a result 1.2 centimeter. Here is another problem taken from CXC June 2005. The figures shown below, not drawn to scale, represent the cross sections of 2 circular pizzas. Both pizzas are equally thick and contain the same toppings. On the left, you have the small pizza, the diameter being 15 centimeter. On the right, you have the medium-sized pizza. The diameter is 30 centimeter, twice 15. Part A. Is the medium-sized pizza twice as large as a small-sized pizza? Use calculations to support your answer. Part B. a medium-sized pizza is cut into 3 equal parts, and each part is sold for $15.95. A small pizza is sold for $12.95. Which is the better buy? Use calculations to support your answer. Here is the solution. Area of small pizza is 176.7 centimeters square. The area of the medium-sized pizza is 706.95 centimeters square. The medium-sized pizza is not twice as large as the small pizza, because if we compare the two areas, we will discover that one is larger than the other. So we answer the first part of the question, and we have done our calculation to show that one is bigger than the other. Part B. 1/3 of the medium-sized pizza is equal to 235.65 centimeters square. 1 centimeter square medium-sized pizza will now cost 6.8 cents. So if you do your calculation, you will see that 1 centimeter square is worth 6.8 cents. 1 centimeter square small pizza costs 7.3 cents. So if you're buying, we'll conclude that the medium-sized pizza is a better buy because it is selling at 6.8 cents compared with the small size one selling at 7.3 cents. Here is another problem taken from CXC January 2006. The curved surface area of a cylinder is equal to 2 pi RH. So you're given the formula here, where R is the radius and H is the height. And the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. The diagram above, not drawn to scale, shows a solid glass paperweight which consists of a hemisphere mounted on a cylinder. The radius of the hemisphere is 3 centimeters. The radius of the cylinder is 3 centimeters, and its height is 8 centimeters. 1. Calculate the curved surface area of the cylinder. Part 2. Calculate the surface area of the hemisphere. Part 3. Calculate the total surface area of the solid paperweight. Here is the solution. The curved surface area of the cylinder is given by the formula 2 pi RH, which is equal to 2, and here we are told to use pi as 3.14. So it is 2 times 3.14 times 3 times 8, which is equal to 150.72 centimeters squared. The area of the hemisphere is equal to half the area of the sphere. We are told that the area of a sphere is equal to 4 pi r squared. So half of that will give us 2 pi r squared, which is equal to 2 times 3.14 times 3 times 3, and this works out to be 56.52 centimeters squared. So the total surface area of the paperweight is the adding of those two values, that is 150.72 plus 56.52 will give us 207.24 centimeters square as a total surface area. Here is your problem for today. The diagram below not drawn to scale, shows a block of wood in the shape of a semicircular prism. The cross section of the prism is a semicircle with diameter 30 centimeters. The length of the prism is 1.2 meters. You're asked to use pi as 3.14. Calculate giving your answer to three significant figures. 1. The area in centimeter square of the cross section, and 2. the volume in centimeter cube of the prism. This question is taken from CXC January 2004. Here is the solution to the problem given to you in the last lesson. The diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows a prism of length 30 cm. The cross section WXYZ is a square with area 144 centimeters squared. Volume of prism is equal to area of base times height, which is equal to 144 times 30, which is equal to 4,320 centimeter cube. This brings us to the end of today's program, CXC Mathematics in Focus.
In the last lesson, we discussed what is a summary, the purposes of summary writing, understanding the writer's purpose and tone, explicit and implicit ideas, and grasping the main idea from a text or passage. Today, we will put those skills into practice as we endeavor to summarize longer passages. Let's begin by reading a passage about dogs. Summarize the lessons one can learn from a dog in not more than 100 words. There are so many lessons one can learn about life from a dog. Imagine this scenario. It is raining heavily outside, and you need to leave for someone's house. The dog is up and eager to go with you. You tell it to stay home. As you leave, you see it squeezing out through the gap in the doorway. You scold it and order it back home. Then at every turn you make, you suddenly see it following you sheepishly at a distance. It follows at the risk of being reprimanded for the sole reason of being somewhere nearby. How else can we experience so selfless an instance of love and faithfulness? We can learn a lifelong lesson from this sincere, warm display of perpetual companionship. Observe the eating habits of your dog. It does not eat except when hungry. It does not drink unless it is thirsty. It does not gorge itself. It stops eating when it has had enough. A dog also sets a perfect example of adaptability. If it is moved to a strange place, it is able to adapt itself to the place and to its thousands peculiarities without a murmur of complaint. It is able to learn and adapt to a new family's ways and customs. It is quick and ready to please. Man, being accustomed to comfort and wealth, will be lost if suddenly stripped of all he is accustomed to. A dog also teaches us a thing or two about unselfish love. When a dog knows death is approaching, it tries with its last vestige of strength to crawl away elsewhere to die in order to burden its owners no more. A dog does things with all vigor. However, when there is nothing to do, it lies down and rests. It does not waste its strength and energy needlessly. Many working people are burning the candles at both ends. Many suffer nervous breakdowns due to stress. Perhaps they should learn to rest like a dog does. A dog, above all, is truly man's best friend. Let us now see if we can summarize in not more than 100 words the lessons one can learn from a dog. Let us begin by jotting down the main points. The first paragraph presents a scenario which is summed up in the last two sentences of the paragraph. What lesson is the writer conveying in the paragraph that we can learn from a dog? Yes, faithfulness and good companionship in spite of danger. What lesson can we learn from the eating habits of a dog in paragraph 2? That is right, we can learn not to overindulge ourselves in eating. What can we learn from a dog in the third paragraph? Easy adjustments to change in surroundings. What else can we learn from dogs in paragraphs 4 and 5? Unselfish love, balance between work and rest. Let's quickly go over these points. Faithfulness and good companionship in spite of danger, easy adjustments to change in surroundings, unselfish love, balance between work and rest. Now, how can we achieve this? Here is a sample. Dogs can teach us many lessons. They can teach us to be faithful and loving companions despite the threat of danger. We can also be taught by them not to overindulge ourselves in eating. In addition, they can teach us how to adjust to changes in our environment without murmuring, as well as how to find a balance between work and rest. Dogs also teach us unselfish love by the way they go away rather than burden us. 84 words. Notice how ideas were combined with the use of such linked devices as also, in addition, and as well as. Let us read this other passage and try to summarize the advantages and disadvantages of owning a television in not more than 100 words. Summarize in your own words the advantages and disadvantages of owning a television. Your account should be no more than 100 words. With the invention of televisions, many forms of entertainments have been replaced. Lively programs like television serials and world news have removed us from the need to read books or papers, to listen to radios, or even to watch movies. In fact, during the 1970s, when televisions were first introduced, cinema theaters suffered great losses as many people chose to stay in the comfort of their homes to watch their favorite programs. Indeed, the television brings the world into our homes. Hence, by staying at home and pressing some buttons, world happenings are immediately presented before us. Children nowadays develop faster in language owing to the early exposure to television programs. At such tender age, it would be difficult for them to read books or papers. Thus, television programs are a good source of learning for them. Furthermore, pronunciations by the newscasters, actors or actresses are usually standardized. Hence, young children watching these programs will learn the right pronunciations too. Owning a television is also extremely beneficial to working parents who are usually too busy or tired to take their kids out for entertainments. Surrounded by the comforts of their home, the family can have a chance to get together and watch their favorite television programs. Of course, we should not be too carried away by the advantages of television and overlook its negative points. Watching television programs takes away our need to read. Why bother to read the papers when we can hear them from the television news reports? Why read books when exciting movies are screened? The lack of reading is unhealthy, especially to younger children, as they will grow up only with the ability to speak but not write. I have a neighbor whose 6-year-old child can say complete sentences like, "I like cats," but when told to write out the sentence, is unable to do so. Not only are the writing skills of children affected, their thinking capacities are also handicapped. Television programs remove the need to think. The stories, ideas, and facts are woven in the way television planners wanted. Exposure to such opinions and the lack of thinking opportunities will hinder the children's analyzing ability. Despite the disadvantages of watching television programs, personally, I think that choosing the middle path, which is to do selective television viewing and not overindulging in the habit, should be the best solution to reconcile both the merits and demerits of owning a television. Now, let us first try to identify the advantages of owning a television. Does the first paragraph state any advantage? No, it states a disadvantage. We'll come back to it in a moment. What about the second paragraph? Yes, there are 3 advantages here. What are they? TV provides easy access to world affairs by the simple press of a button. TV is a good source of learning for children and helps them to develop language skills. It provides ready family entertainment in homes for busy parents. Is there any other advantage stated or implied? No. Let's now identify the disadvantages. Let us go back to the first paragraph. Here we see television has replaced other forms of entertainment, such as reading and listening to radio. Take note, in this first paragraph, there is mention of lack of attendance at the cinema. This is a disadvantage to cinema owners, not to television owners. So that would not be a relevant point. There are some other disadvantages mentioned in paragraph 3. What are these? Yes, children will develop poor writing skills from lack of reading. Television robs children of their ability to think and analyze. Let's quickly review these advantages and disadvantages. Advantages of owning a television. Television provides easy access to world affairs by the simple press of a button. Television is a good source of learning for young children and helps them to develop language skills. It provides ready family entertainment in homes for busy parents. Let us now review the disadvantages of owning a television. Television has replaced other forms of entertainment, such as reading and listening to the radio. Children will develop poor writing skills from lack of reading. Television robs children of their ability to think and analyze. So we have it. Let us now see if we can put it all together in the form of a summary. The television keeps viewers at home informed about world affairs by the simple press of a button. Early exposure to television programs also helps children to learn faster and to develop language skills. Besides, the television is a convenient source of entertainment for busy parents who have little time to take the family out. On the other hand, television has replaced reading and listening to the radio. As a result, children develop poor writing, thinking, and reasoning skills. A selective and balanced approach to television viewing is what is needed. So students, we have 90 words. Let us examine some of the connective devices that have been used to link the ideas in the summary. The word besides introduces another advantage. The phrase on the other hand introduces a contrast, in this case, a disadvantage. As a result, introduces a consequence. In the next lesson, we'll be looking at summary in the form of a letter as well as discussing guidelines for successful summary writing. And until then, on behalf of the team Bibiali, Parmeshwar Lal, and Ron Chichester, I'm Ingrid Fong saying see you next time.